Welcome to Podcast of All Podcasts. Enjoy best moments of podcast history. Jedi Mind Trick.
In my historical oracle, I blast metaphorical editorials, educating in my territorial get torn. Heavily armed with 70 bombs that'll blast divine like the heavenly song. Your men will be gone if they explore my deepest thought. I beat hearts in two, then axe demons for chalk. I'm dreaming to stalk MCs in the dark. I walk blindfolded, the mind's golden. Watch how you talk, my style is an art. Recognize lyrical purity, all hell breaks loose like I'm all with no security. The dopest vocalist, with my third eye I focus where I proceed. Flow with the speed of an indie motorist. There's more to this than wasted. Shiny chains and bracelets. I hear tracks, my tongue wait for the brains to blaze it. Amazing, angelic, tell it to your peoples. Come on, yo. Philadelphia's like the sun, cause we shine with rhymes. The underground is like the moon, you only see us at times. And at times we're like skies where the stars recline. Jedi mind, outer space, coincide and combine. Philadelphia's like the sun, cause we shine with rhymes. Underground is like the moon, you only see us at times. And at times we're like skies where the stars recline. Jedi mind, outer space, coincide and combine. Raw poems, bury your body in catacombs. Rip your soul from your limbs like brims from Jim Jones. In the twilight zone, we disperse cowards. Vampires that stalk Earth on reversed hours. Night calls, we talk at your facade. My latitude is gone. Darts out my jaws, leave eternal scars. You're left breathing out of tube straws by the marksman. Harnessing science for the mildest and charlatan. Raps will make you parallax. My domain has power to block synapse inside veins. War shots fired off by the army type warlocks. Devil's plan is to have you drip in the Clorox. Beast deceiving us, ways devious, possessing my peace. The walk streets with stolen heat like Prometheus. Elements rushing you back to hell again. Philadelphians, crush your skeleton to fucking gelatin. Philadelphia's like the sun, cause we shine with rhymes. The underground is like the moon, you only see us at times. And at times we're like skies where the stars recline. Jedi mind, outer space, coincide and combine. Philadelphia's like the sun, cause we shine with rhymes. Underground is like the moon, you only see us at times. And at times we're like skies where the stars recline. Jedi mind, outer space, coincide and combine. Don't ever come at me with war. I've severed scores of orators. Rappers fall onto all fours like minotaurs. When Jedi mind and the planetary be farming this, we stand one step above you like a pharmacist. With ominous, detonate the bomb. Heads dread, hallucinogenics in Vietnam. I spit a song, create bombs like an Iraqi. Swear on the Bible and then lie to Ecclesiastes. Assault and battery. Battle me, that'll be what split you. Store enormous amounts of energy in the crystal weaver would constrict you. The guards are militant. You faggots couldn't go to left like you was impotent. You ignorant, your whole clique is splitting high. You step in our law path and face our law wrath. What? Philadelphia's like the sun, cause we shine with rhymes. The underground is like the moon, you only see us at times. And at times we're like skies where the stars recline. Jedi mind, outer space, coincide and combine. Philadelphia's like the sun, cause we shine with rhymes. Underground is like the moon, you only see us at times. And at times we're like skies where the stars recline. Jedi mind, outer space, coincide and combine.
Joe Rogan with Christina P.
That's interesting.
That they were looking at you like you fucked up, and there was a big group of people judging you. I was like, oh.
That's interesting. I would think it's fear of alienation from the pack. It's the same reason people are afraid of success. It's because you don't want to lose your connection to the tribe because it separates you from the tribe.
Well, as a comic, don't you notice that when people get to be a certain level of success, there's some of them just stay cool and they just hang no matter what. Like Ron White. Ron White is always just hanging out, right? And he's about as big as you get. I mean, Ron White has sold out fucking arenas, right?
Crazy.
But, you know, you hang with Ron, he's like, hey, man, what's going on? You know, you want a drink? He gives you a hug, and he's the best, right? But, like, some people, they get insulated and they get weird, and then they lose touch with everybody, and then their comedy suffers.
Yeah. Well, because you can't be removed from the world to talk about the world. It doesn't really work that way, does it?
No. But I think people...
How do you stay normal?
Well, I don't know.
Like, how do you stay normal? You're super successful.
I think one of the reasons is because I do a lot of other shit, like the yoga.
Yeah.
I think doing yoga, like, it's difficult. Doing jiu-jitsu, bow hunting. Bow hunting is one of the hardest things I've ever done. It's fucking hard. Yeah. It's super difficult. Super difficult to get accurate. Super intense pressure on the line when you have to execute a shot on a living creature. And then, just to get obsessed with the methodology behind it and all the technique and and learning and studying it and just, I get obsessed with things. So by doing things I suck at, like yoga, bow hunting, and jiu-jitsu, you get more humble. I suck less at jiu-jitsu than I do at the other things, but I still suck in comparison to people that are really good.
That's really interesting. I like that because I started baking.
There you go.
Very domestic. And I suck at it. Yeah. I'm fucking terrible at it.
But you have to think.
But I have to think, and I'm learning, and it's for the thrill and the joy of doing it. It's not result oriented, and I think that's the difference between hobbies and career, right?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Like, there's no results that need to happen with you in bow hunting. If they happen, great. If not, whatever. But it's for the enjoyment of the activity versus like results, like, oh, why should I play the piano? I'm not going to get to Carnegie Hall. Well, who cares? Like, you don't have to.
Right.
Who says you have to get to Carnegie Hall? Just enjoy the activity.
Yeah.
The hobby.
Well, and
damn it.
And being obsessed with the process of learning.
Yeah.
Because you're a beginner. Whereas opposed to like if you're some mega celebrity superstar comedian that sells out giant arenas, you're not a beginner, man. I mean, and if that's all you do, if all you do is something you're awesome at and everybody loves you and you go out, what's up, everybody? Yeah.
Right.
Like there's a weird disconnect that happens with people. And you see it with certain comics. I mean, you see a clear progression in their stardom and their act falling apart.
Right. And that is because of the loss of touch with reality and what's normal in the world. And
also, you get too fucking comfortable.
Right. Complacency. Yeah.
And you start believing that you're awesome.
Right.
You're not the self-critical aspect of, analyzing your act, going over it with a fine-tooth comb. Like, when you just did this special, right? I'm sure you must have spent a lot of time like combing.
Every word mattered. Every sentence mattered. Every joke mattered.
That's why you're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, you have to fucking hate yourself.
So much.
Right?
So much.
It's the worst.
I'm so glad you said that because I like I said, I told you before we wrote, like, October 9th, I was just some douchebag who sold 200 tickets in Portland, and I'm still that person, but I'm saying, like, October 10th, 108 million people now have access to my stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a mind fuck, but the good news is I'm still self-loathing enough to be like, you gotta grind. Like, I'm still gonna go to the Comedy Store.
Sure.
Work out this next hour, and it's always the work of it. But you do have to fucking hate. You can't believe the hype that you're great.
No. Well,
That's
you know
bad.
You know all the various incarnations your act has gone through and each bit has gone through. When someone comes to see you, they're like, we're going to go see Christina. I'm with the mommies. Woo! And they see you, and it's their first time hearing all the material, and they love it. Like, oh, my God, it was fucking amazing. Yeah. You know better because you know you've gone through it all, and you picked it apart. And, I always tell people, like,
God.
I'm not like the biggest fan of me. Like, I think I can do better. And it's like, no matter how much I murder, it's like
of your comedy,
you're
so, and you're like one of the most thoughtful, thought-provoking, funny, articulate. Like, you know what I mean? You're really deep and good.
I've known myself too well.
I'm
not buying it. I'm not buying it.
You're like, I don't believe. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. That's what I was talking to Tom about. That's so funny. This morning too, we were walking, and I was like. I think that's how you keep your career, is if you struggle as though it was the first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't think you're all that.
Do stuff that you're sucking at, too.
Yeah.
Do the baking, do the hot yoga, do Pilates. Pilates is very underrated.
Fucking, it kicks my ass. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like to exercise, but after I had my kid, I was like, I don't want to be brittle and hunched over and shitty at 50. Like, I'm looking to 50.
And Pilates is like a core thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, works your whole core. And that's the thing that people don't think about. It's like a hip word to use, like core.
Right.
I'm working my core.
What is that?
Like, what is that?
I didn't know what that was.
But what it really means, what you really got to work is not just your muscles like your thighs or your arms, but work the stuff that keeps you upright.
Yeah.
All those muscles that stabilize your back, all those muscles that allow you to have good posture.
Oh, yeah.
All those muscles that keep your discs from compressing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that yoga does. It stretches you out, and Pilates.
I gotta get back into yoga. I
Why don't you
did
go with
that.
Tommy?
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I had a kid, it fucked up. I got sciatica. Because, your body literally splits in half. Your pelvis is two bones, right, that come apart. And the baby comes out, and then it has to heal. Ooh. So I'm 2 years postpartum, and it's just now kind of coming back.
That's crazy.
But, yeah, dude, it's been like, it's brutal. I'm sure being 39 or 40 when I had a baby probably wasn't, helpful. But that Pilates, it kicks my... And I'm bad at it, too. I suck at Pilates. I make fun of myself the whole time. I'm like, do I have perfect form? Am I the best at this you've ever seen? But you still do it.
Yeah.
You still fucking push yourself.
Well, doing things that you suck at, I think, is giant for anyone doing anything. Because I think that if you get to certain levels of proficiency at things, you can get lost in that thing. And I think one of the best ways, especially, maybe I'm just looking at it in terms of creative endeavors, because like stand-up obviously is so dependent upon your ideas, so dependent upon creativity, that one of the best ways for me to have other thoughts other than like just my immediate act and doing shows and travel. That's the worst thing that happens to comics, right? They start doing airplane jokes because they're on airplanes all the time and hotel jokes, and they just lose their perspective, right?
Yeah.
Do other shit.
Live a life.
Yeah, live a life and do stuff that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
Have some struggle so that the stand-up struggle doesn't seem that... Stand-up is the easiest fucking part of my day.
Right. After, doing it for 14 years, yes.
Yeah.
Or however
After
long
yoga and running and all the other different shit I do, the stand-up part is the easiest part.
It's so interesting, too. I was thinking about, I've been doing it for 14 years before I got this first special. And I was like thinking about the crazy shit you go through to be a comic, and like the horrible positions I put myself, like as a woman too, it's especially fucked up because you're like a feature act and you're staying in like motels where the door faces the fucking parking lot, and you're doing some hibachi grill, and some weirdo's gonna try to pay you with a fur coat instead of money this week. And you're like, what kind of sickness was I in my 20s and 30s where I thought that was okay?
Well, you really would only do it when you're young.
Crazy.
If you wanted to start that right now, it would be such a grind. Like guys like Dean Del Rey, give it up to that guy. That guy didn't even start doing stand-up till he was like, I think he was like 46 or some crazy shit like that. Old? Dean's in his 50s.
No.
Yes.
He looks great.
Looks great. You know why he looks great? He looked like shit just a few years ago. He got off sugar completely.
Oh, that's right.
He was eating candy all day. He had like a real sugar problem. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, hey, bro, you're going to get fucking diabetes. You are right now pre-diabetic. He's like, see this? Look at your blood. You see, they showed him the blood markers. Like, you're on the way. Like, you are right now officially pre-diabetic. What do? And he said, well, I eat gummy bears and shit. Hey,
man. I can't do
his voice either. Hey, I'm eating gummy bears, man. He would eat candy all day long.
That's crazy. As an adult.
So bad for you.
That sugar is the worst for you. That's the fucking devil right there.
That is the devil.
Yeah.
But they say your body doesn't really differentiate between fruit and candy.
I had a trainer.
Crazy?
I had a trainer that called it nature's candy.
Ooh.
He's like, fruit, nature's candy.
Is it a black guy or a country guy?
I don't know.
Where do you live?
Some guy at Gold's
From
Gym.
Wyoming. He used to live with cowboy boots on. Don't be eating that nature's candy. Here, have yourself a wheat biscuit.
He was a miner. Yeah. Oh, fucking, I don't know. Yeah, he was telling me about nature's candy, the evil of it. And I was like, that's true. It's just fucking sugar.
Yeah, but it's so good.
Thing.
Like I had mango the other day. Oh, so delicious.
Yeah.
Nice ripe mango.
They make you shit, too.
Do they?
Makes me shit. That's like lightning.
You know what makes me shit?
What?
It's fucking coffee. This caveman coffee. This stuff opens up. Whoa. Whoa.
Woo!
Sometimes I shit. Like the other day I shit, and I tell my 7-year-old about it.
Yeah.
I tell her. She's like, Daddy, you almost done? Because I was playing with her, and I had to take this horrible shit. I just taken her to a martial arts class, and we got home, and I go, I'll play with you, but first I got to go potty. And I was in there for like 5 minutes. She's like, Daddy, you almost done? I'm like, look, the shit I took was so huge, I was almost going to show it to you.
Yeah.
I say the poop. I don't say shit. I don't know why. I'm preparing.
You don't curse in front of the...
I do occasionally, but here's a problem. When she was 3, when my youngest was 3, we were skiing. She's been skiing since she was like 2. And we took her skiing, and we were putting all our stuff back in, and we had everything stacked up. But
Chris Hardwick with Alex Trebek.
You don't want to do that. You want them to like you, and you want to be regarded as one of the guys.
Sure.
So,
but with the ever crumbling fabric of television, Jeopardy is the. I can't think of any other show. I cannot think of any other really brainy. I mean, there was a quiz show boom at one time in our culture.
yeah, it's cyclical, but there has been,
Of course.
a number of them.
And but with the exception of your show, there really haven't been any that have survived.
No, Allison, you might know better than I on this because Rocky or Harry gave me the stat a couple of months ago. I think since we went on the air, 280 different game shows have come and gone.
Oh my God!
I'll double check that.
Yeah, but it's a lot. It's in the hundreds.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. And it was. I grew up. One of the reasons why I love the show that I'm doing now is because it's essentially the engine of a game show. And I've always adored game shows my entire life. There's just something about it, just the momentum drives, it's engaging, it's fun.
Takes you back to your school days. You're answering questions in class, and if you answer correctly, you feel good because the teacher looks at you and says, "Oh, Chris, that was pretty sharp. I didn't expect that of you today in this topic." And all the other kids look at you and say, "Hey, look at that. He's an athlete and he's intellectual. He's not just a nerd that we can make fun of." So if you're well-rounded, and that's what Jeopardy, I think, contributes to the television scene. Our contestants are well-rounded. They're not nerds. They're bright people. They have great senses of humor, as you've noticed with our champions in the Battle of the Decades that's airing now. And, they are successful individuals. And they've done everything that people in our viewing audience can relate to.
Sure. But I think that so many shows now play on the idea that they make the audience feel like the audience is above the content, where it's like, oh, I feel better about myself because I'm better than that crap that I'm watching. But, Jeopardy is a show where
It's the opposite.
it is the opposite.
However, having said that, it's the opposite, but whenever there's enough material in each half hour that whenever a player at home, because you tend to play along, whenever you come up with a correct response before the contestant does, you feel really good.
Right.
And you don't have a lot of time to dwell on your errors when you do make mistakes because I've got another clue for you in 8 seconds.
That's right.
So it keeps moving. It's not like we ask one question, give you 30 seconds to think about it. It's not like a whole program of Final Jeopardies.
Right.
Where you say, oh, geez, I missed that. You don't have time to worry about that. It's what they tell athletes all the time. Don't worry about missing your last shot. Take another one, and then you'll make it. Hey, and then you feel good.
Well, and this is a perfect segue into the fact that I really don't expect you to remember this, but I was on Celebrity Jeopardy in 1996 with Patrick Duffy and Sharon Lawrence.
And you beat them.
I did beat them, but I was getting my butt kicked the entire show, but I bet everything on Final Jeopardy, and I was the only one that got it right. So I did feel that the whole time I was like, I'm getting my ass kicked. This is never gonna. And then finally in the end.
And you put an end to Patrick Duffy's career and Sharon Lawrence's career. Whatever became of them?
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Let's see. Patrick is still on. Yes, all right. And Sharon is doing a play.
I got to say, in all fairness, Patrick Duffy should have won. He was he's an incredibly smart guy. And he also figured out the timing of the buzzer, which is it's a skill all on its own. But I don't think people realize that what I remember is that just off to the side of you is a light. And as soon as the light goes off, I believe that means that the buttons are open. And when you hit the button, if you miss the timing of it, you're locked out for like a second and a half or something.
No, not that long. Just part of a second.
Okay, well, it felt like a second and a half because I kept... So doing this doesn't really help, like mashing the button.
Does not help at all. But see, I'll use a sports analogy. The Clippers, a couple of nights ago, were supposed to win the game against Oklahoma. 2 nights before that, Oklahoma was supposed to win the game against the Clippers. Each team had a big lead in their respective games, and yet they wound up losing. So you never know. The element of luck comes into it, and if you happen to hit a category that you feel very comfortable with, you're going to do better than in the other categories. Mm-hmm. And on Final Jeopardy, if you understand that you're playing with house money, and it doesn't matter if you lose with $5 or lose with $5,000, you're still going to lose.
Right.
So bet as much as you can.
That was my feeling.
Bet it all.
Yeah.
And hey, holy smokes, look at that. Why were they so cautious? Why did they bet $199.50? It doesn't make sense.
Bet it all. Bet it all if you want to win.
Absolutely.
And let's talk a little bit about, because I think people do know that you were Canadian born.
Right.
And you started in you were doing like television broadcasting, like but newsier stuff.
Well, I did news, sports. I did a high school quiz show called Reach for the Top, which was widely lampooned by SCTV, and they did a marvelous job. Eugene Levy was Alex Trebek. When they started doing their takeoffs on Reach for the Top, they would introduce him as Alex Trebell. And that lasted just a couple of episodes, and they said, what the hell, we'll just call him Alex Trebek. And he had the dark hair and the thick mustache, and John Candy and Catherine O'Hara, and who were some of the others?
Well, there was Joe Flaherty.
Joe Flaherty.
Yeah,
Andrea Martin.
Martin Short.
Yeah, Martin Short. They were all...
and Harold Ramis, too.
Yeah, and you're looking at all of these people who wound up with marvelous comedic careers, and they were poking fun at us on Reach for the Top, a Canadian high school quiz show. And it was wonderful. I loved it.
Did you know any of those guys?
I met them later.
Yeah.
But they were doing that show in the Canadian entertainment capital of Edmonton, Alberta, way up north. The ice never leaves the ground.
No, it's the story of the early SCTV of they're just isolated. It's kind of out in Canada, and not realizing that their show is becoming a hit because they're basically imprisoned by their location.
Yeah, and someone owned a studio and said, I'll provide the space for you. Do the show here. Okay, good. Let's go.
Yeah, Rick Moranis was on the podcast last year, and he just said, we had no idea. We were just, going and making stuff that we thought was funny and had no concept that anyone else thought, And then we got it in the States, and it was one of my early childhood influences.
And it made stars of all of them.
Yeah.
So great.
So what is was there a sense of were you sort of following the work, or did you say, well, I want to go work in the States, or was there ever a point where you're like, maybe I'll stay in Canada? And
no, I had been with the CBC as a staff announcer for about 10, 11 years, and I started thinking about working in the United States, and I came to the U.S., and I think I auditioned for Rowan Arledge, and he was going to hire me for the sports division, and I don't know what happened, but then Alan Thicke, a friend of mine who had appeared as a guest on a daily variety show that I hosted, Talk Variety, he had appeared with his singing partner, Brian Kick-In Brain. He wound up married to Cheryl Ladd.
I don't know.
And so Alan Thicke and Brian would appear as singers doing duets on the program. And then Alan came to the United States, and he was working as a writer on a game show that NBC was creating called Wizard of Odds. And they had exhausted their supply of local hosts. Mm-hmm. And he recommended me, and they said, well, we'll give him a try. And they flew me to New York. I auditioned. I rehearsed during the day and did a run-through for them at night at the New York Hilton in one of their meeting rooms. Flew back immediately. That was on a Saturday. got home in time to see the second and third periods of the hockey game, so I felt really good about my day. And then at midnight or so, they said, we want you to do the pilot. And then in February, I guess, they flew me to California to do the pilot and told me I had a pickup. And I didn't want to quit the CBC because I knew how, sketchy, if you will, life can be in the freelance world here in the United States.
Sure.
But I had 16 weeks of annual leave coming. So I took 12 of those weeks to come to the United States, and we taped the first 13 weeks of Wizard, and we got a pickup, so then I resigned at the CBC.
And then that was for Wizard of Oz. And how long did that show run?
1 year.
That just ran for a year.
Yep. Canceled on a Friday, and it was replaced on the following Monday with High Rollers, which I also hosted.
Sure.
And that went for 4.5 years.
That was the dice game show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I think one distinction I have is that I'm probably the only game show host who wound up replacing himself in a time slot with a different show on 2 occasions. And I'm the only game show host who ever had 3 shows on at the same time, 3 different shows.
You did Concentration, right?
Yep.
And then
Jeopardy and To Tell the Truth.
And To Tell the Truth. Wow. Did you ever think that you wanted to do more like interview format shows? Like, did you ever feel sort of crushed by the weight of, your personality ekes out a little bit on the show, but ultimately you're kind of, it's like you're really serving the game.
Right.
And you're
serving the game and the contestants, who I consider to be the stars of the show.
Sure.
And if you want to be a successful host, it helps to remember that particular principle and operate under that principle at all times. You are not the star. You are here to facilitate things for the contestants, and the game is the star also. Mm-hmm. So get out of the way, do your job, make everybody else look good.
H. John Benjamin, the voiceover master. You may know him from Bob's Burgers, some other shit.
It's a good compliment.
I don't know why I did that.
It worked out.
I like the red over the blue.
Straight out the barnyard curtain doors. Hit us up with a worst gig ever story.
I fucked a horse. That was my first paid gig, in fairness. So it was the best $30 I've ever made. Yeah.
That's not a bad amount.
Like when I started out, pretty much all of them were bad. Although I didn't really do stand-up so much. I was in a sketch group. So you have the benefit of having like other people involved in your failure.
Go down with the ship.
Yeah, that helps. We started in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in this group with David Cross, who then left. So there was still, there was about 9 of us, and we started doing shows in New York to show people what we do. So it was like the first show at this place on 42nd Street called, I can't remember what it was called, but it was in the basement. It was like a black box theater.
Right.
Had like 150 seats, and we were like really hyped about it, because it was like our first big show in New York. So we were just kids with a gleam in our eye.
And hope in
was
your
this when the
hearts.
42nd Street was the Deuce? Right? It was the Deuce, right?
Was it the Deuce? Yeah.
The Deuce.
That's what we used to call it.
Okay.
Right.
It wasn't the 40s.
No.
No, it was in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
right.
if it was still called the Deuce.
1940 sketch boom.
Hey, we're going to the Deuce. The Deuce.
Yeah.
So there was like a green room on the side, and I remember we were like the first show. It was like the one show of the night, and this comedian Dave Attell, I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
Dave Attell was opened for us. Like we were friendly with him, and he was nice enough to open for us. And we didn't see the audience before we went out, because it was like off in a room.
Right.
So Attell went out. I guess I can't remember all the details, but nobody seemed to look like what the show was. Like no one opened the door. And when the show started, Attell went out and did like 15 minutes of stand-up, and then came back in and was like, holy fuck, like he was just like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And then we had this like 1 hour sketch show, right. And we went out and there was an old woman in the front, and that was it. There was one woman in the entire theater, and it was my aunt. It was
Really?
my aunt who I didn't know was coming. Her name was Marion.
So it was a nice surprise at least.
So, and she was eating a sandwich, and I was like, let's forget this. Like, Attell had just done a 15-minute set for my aunt.
And bombed in front of her. Sounds
Well,
Or did he kill?
I didn't talk to her. Like, we were so, like, kind of nervous,
Right.
and we were like, we got to do the show,
Right.
and everybody there was like, people might show up.
Because you're also probably
couple
like, this
people
is my
did-
New York show. We're gonna blow it out.
Yeah. And that was
Big apple.
that was our New York premiere. It was for my aunt, and after she was like, I like the comedian. She was this old Jewish woman. She was like, I really like the comedian, and he was really dirty, too,
Right.
as I remember. So he did like I remember he did a bit about he did like a character bit about doing cocaine off his dick to my aunt. She liked him. She liked the racy stuff.
It was Times Square. It was
was
the
a
80s.
different
It was a different time.
It was
the
the
deuce.
deuce. It was the deuce. It was the deuce. She
Did you get any laughs out of her?
Not really. I mean,
So hard to
and
gauge
the
which
other
material
thing
was
she
working.
said was that the Reuben was really good. Like she was like really complimented the Reuben. Like I like the Reuben. I like the show was good. I mean, she came to the show, which was crazy. And I don't think I told her about
You
it.
didn't invite her.
No, I don't think. I think she probably read about it in the paper or
A
something.
leaflet.
She's hip to the deuce.
She just she walked the deuce every weekend. She walked the deuce.
Sometimes you just gotta walk the deuce alone, you know? Cheers to your
I
aunt.
am.
To Aunt Marion, she's alive. She's still alive.
May she still be alive.
May
This one's
she-
going out to Aunt Marion.
May she die in peace.
John, you are fantastic at comedy.
Thank you.
But have you been terrible at jobs before comedy?
I'm notoriously terrible at jobs. I really was not good at anything I'd ever done. I worked for I worked for my dad, who ran a small business, like an electrical supply company.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked in his warehouse, which was a very good job because it was like I just did what I wanted,
Right.
and everybody sort of had to like me.
Right.
There was a lot of pretending to like that kid.
The boss's
The
kid.
boss's kid.
Were you aware of that concept?
Yeah,
Like while
yeah,
you were
I
there,
was-
but
I
you were
was-
like, ah, fuck it.
I was good with it, like yeah.
Right.
And there was, it was a big warehouse where you could have, have light bulb fights and stuff like that. Light bulb fights are fun. Fluorescent light bulb fights are really fun.
Were you smashing against people?
Yeah.
Oh.
With the staff, unsuspectingly, you come up behind them and smash them.
Like that Star Wars.
Which Star Wars movie was that?
No, where we would
Yeah, Empire
reenact.
Strikes Back, where they just start whacking each
It's
other.
like
on
it's like a lightsaber.
Of course, yeah, lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah. You haven't seen Star Wars yet.
I'm not familiar with this.
Oh, all right. Well, they had
Okay.
these lit, so whatever. Oh, yeah. Just see Star Wars, and
Okay,
you'll know.
I've heard
what I'm
good
talking
things.
Where I
about
call it, watch Star Wars.
One summer, my dad hooked me up with a job with one of his friends who was building a warehouse. He was making a warehouse. And I got the job to build the shelves in the warehouse for, he ran like he was, I don't know, he was like stock inventory for his inventory. And I had no conception of how to build shelves.
Like physically
it was
build
a total,
them out of wood or put them together?
build them out of I
Wow.
had these wood and then
Really good with
like
power
these little
tools.
and it was totally like go build my shelves. All right, and I was totally alone. Like that's the word. Like it's just me and like a boom box.
What were you listening to at the time?
I imagine it was like a lot of like Fix potentially.
Sure.
Fix.
Yeah.
For the listener, the Fix were a band in the early to mid 80s who had a big hit with One Thing Leads to Another. I once saw them perform on a ship while I was on land.
I would also like mow his lawn and shit. So I was like just a kid who'd be like, I walk in, how's the shelves coming? There's no shelves in here yet. Yeah, I'm still like trying to figure out how to get the.
Get the proportions
yeah,
right.
I was like
Working on it,
mapping it out. Go mow my lawn, gotta walk my dog, and whatever, shit like that. So it'd be like this kid would be like, all right, someone else is gonna build these
Glorified
anyway.
houseboy kind of.
And then a guy came in, like midway through. I can't remember his name, but he came in from prison and was on a work release somehow, and he all of a sudden just started showing up, and he was like this guy. So I worked with him for the remainder of the summer. He could actually build shelves, which was good, but he spent most of the day, this guy like had a lot of copper wire, so he spent most of the day like cutting, trimming the wire, putting it in a bag, and then taking me to go sell it for cash for prison. And he I couldn't understand a word he was saying. He was Hispanic. And he was always like, we gotta get more copper, man. We gotta get more copper. We gotta get more copper. You bring it to like a, he made like whatever, $11 off all this copper. So he just keeps ripped like.
Did you ever get a cut of that copper cash?
No, I gave him all the money. Like I was like, this is your deal.
Right.
Like, I don't know how much $11 in Walpole State Prison is, but you're doing well this summer.
Right.
I was just happy he could build shelves, because I was like, panicky about not finishing the shelves.
Did they end up getting finished?
We did like a little bit, I think.
So he would go. He was on a work release, so he would go back to prison every night.
Yes, he would. A van would pick him up and drop him off.
Oh my God!
And they would handcuff him. Like he was free to roam all day, selling copper, walking around. He made the worst and the best part of that was he brought me to his cousin's to fuck her. And to tape it with a beta cam, like he was making porn. And I met, and he wanted me to be in it, I remember, and I'm like, I can't do porn today. Like, I was like 17. He was like, oh yeah, you gotta get in on this. I'm like, oh no, like no way.
This format's going places.
Like we're gonna get fired.
Right.
But then like I'm gonna get fired. You're in jail. You got nothing to lose. Like you're like,
I've got my whole life ahead of me.
It was his cousin too.
Right.
And it was the level of porn in Worcester.
Right.
The level of porn production in Worcester, Massachusetts in the early 80s. It was not yet at its heyday.
You were going to make a foray into porn.
Yeah.
This wasn't your first taste of it.
And although it was my first, I've only seen porn once. No, I've seen it on tape, but live.
Right.
In Los Angeles. I've seen it once, and in Worcester with two cousins, incest porn.
Wait, did you end up taping it?
No. I was in I was in this woman's apartment in her kitchen while he fucked his cousin.
Wow.
In the other room.
Gonzo style.
Did you have a great conversation with the
Well, he was like, this was like probably on the way, like, I'll sell some copper, then we're gonna go with my cousin. Make some porn with my cousin. He had like no teeth. Everything would pop off. Like people on my cousin.
Joey Diaz with Greg Garcia.
Because you've done fucking everything, so it really doesn't matter. We want to welcome on our 500th episode, Mr. Greg Garcia.
It's an honor, man. Thanks for having me here.
Please, this is great. This is great. First of all, I want to tell you that you're one of the best bosses I ever had.
Thanks.
You're up there with Sam Raimi. I got you up there because Sam was fucking very.
All right, yeah.
Like, Sam, what's going on? I don't know. Just go hang out. I'll get you later. Just go.
We like to have a good time.
And that's what.
We spent some time in prison together.
Yes, we did.
Out there in Lancaster, right?
Oh
the
my
fucking
God,
desert.
That's what it was. That's right.
Talk about hot.
And we shot like in August.
Yeah, we shot in the
one
middle.
afternoon.
Oh
That's
my
right.
God, it was brutal out there.
That's right.
Walking around with like wet towels on our head and just trying to stay cool, but good Lord, it was rough out there. And we were in a place that was half closed and half operational. That prison we were in, half of it was being used for illegal immigrants who got arrested, but not for like anything too serious, and they were just awaiting deportation. So they were just chill. They were just playing soccer and hanging out and watching us and stuff. But we were another half of it.
I remember one of the scenes I shot was the guy hitting the head.
You hit the head. Yeah, you hit him with the brick.
And we're talking about My Name Is Earl. He's the creator of My Name Is Earl. And just, Yes Dear. The list goes on and on. I know Lee said you worked on
Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Yeah, I did that one for a year. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was fun.
I mean, your Jimmy runs deep. You know what I'm saying? Your Jimmy runs motherfucking deep. You don't need no introduction. Now you got a new show.
Got a new show coming out, August 3rd, called the Guest Book. Yeah,
good.
That's the new.
You always got something going on.
I try, it's got to the point now too that like I've been lucky enough that I can just do some stuff that's fun. I don't have to chase anything too much. This new one's fun. Yeah.
When I think of you sometimes, like I'll see an old My Name Is Earl at night, or the other one that you did with the old lady who
Raising Hope with Cloris Leachman. She used to lick my neck.
Let me tell you something. She's fucking nuts.
Crazy.
The other day I'm in my hotel room and wherever the fuck I was, and The Longest Yard was on.
Yeah.
I hate watching myself on TV. But as I was scrolling, it was the scene with her and Adam when she's got stockings on. And
she loves that shit.
And I remembered, and I busted out. At the table, she pulled up her shirt.
Yeah.
And showed everybody
the
titties.
Yeah, she'll do whatever. She doesn't care. She would lick me. She'd come and lick me on my neck while I'd be sitting there watching the monitors.
Yeah.
And one day I sprayed bitter apple all over my neck, like the stuff you put on furniture so dogs don't chew it that tastes all bad. And she started licking, and then she stopped. And I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "You're a little afternoony." I said, "Yeah," but it didn't stop her. She kept doing it.
She
kept
was
licking it.
Fucking tremendous in Raising Hope. But it's just you're one of these guys that you're so innovative with the little different TV and where the fuck they do. Like you're always right there. Then you had another show at one time that was crazy also.
I had
earlier before that.
No, just Yes Dear. I worked on Family Guy for a little bit. Yes Dear. I had a show called Built to Last that was ironically Built to Last with Royale Watkins that lasted 3 episodes. Yeah. NBC. Yeah. It lasted 3 episodes.
That was a long
time ago. Co-created that with Warren Hutcherson, stand-up.
Warren Hutcherson.
Yeah, good guy. Yeah.
So that must have been 17 years ago?
It was a long time ago. I was probably 26, 27 years old. Yeah. Built to Last. It wasn't.
Wow. I just saw Royale. Maybe
Did you?
Yeah, you see him from time to time.
Yeah, okay, good.
He's around.
Good. I hope he's doing good. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Television is so hard, and you make it. Right now at this point, the proof is in the pudding. You've made it look so easy.
Yeah, you got to surround yourself with the right people too, though. I mean, I think it's a lot of that. I met a lot of good writers, worked with a lot of good actors that would come back and work on other things too, and it's luck too, because you could do the best show ever if it's not on the right network at the right time. It's done. You gotta thread the needle almost every time. It's tough.
When did you know you wanted to become a television writer?
I watched TV my whole life. Sitcoms and stuff. That's all I did. I wouldn't read books. I would just watch sitcoms.
What were the earlier ones that you watched that you really fell in love with?
Lot of stuff in reruns during the day, like Happy Days and Father Knows Best and Leave It to Beaver and Sanford and Son and What's Happening and all that stuff. Those were my shows, and so much so that when we had dinner, I didn't want to stop watching, but I had to go upstairs and have dinner, so I would set up a little cassette recorder, because we didn't have VCRs, so I set a cassette recorder and I just audio record it. Then I'd come down when like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy were on, which I didn't care about, and I'd listen to them, which would force you to kind of like direct it in your head. You'd have to like move the people around and whatever. So like looking back on it, that was kind of like a tool, to start like thinking about how to actually do one of these things,
That's fucking brilliant. For me, that's how I learned to speak the language.
Yeah.
So for me, it was Dick Van Dyke. It was Room 222.
Yeah.
The Courtship of Eddie's Father. The Waltons fucking was tremendous. I still remember the night that Happy Days premiered.
Yeah.
I was in the 4th grade, and I was at Sacred Heart School for Boys.
Uh-huh.
And that's what you watch. You watch TV like from 7 to 9.
Yeah.
And I still remember the night Happy Days premiered, and shortly after that I'd never forget, we were watching Happy Days, like 16 4th graders, we would have snacks, like whatever. And all of a sudden the television stopped one day, and it was the trailer for Bruce Lee's The Chinese Connection.
Okay.
And during commercials, like, we'd just go crazy. The nun would come out and say, "Shut up, stop it. And I'll never forget that we were watching Happy Days, and all of a sudden I saw Bruce Lee. Like, I had seen him on the Green Hornet before, but now he was in a fucking movie. Like when they took the Green Hornet off TV, people, it's not like today that they had variety. And, you know, like what the fuck happened? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened.
He's just
Fucking
gone.
Bruce Lee, what happened? 6 episodes. He was beating up white people and they took him off.
Nobody can fill you in.
Nobody can fill me in.
It's a mystery.
So he disappeared. So Fist of Fury, it's all, you know, the Chinese released him really weird. So the first Bruce Lee movie that came out didn't come out like they just put it in Chinatown. There was no big advertising. It must have caught on, and that's when they released the Chinese Connection. In my world, that's the best one. That's the one when he goes fucking nuts. And I still remember the trailer playing, and the whole room, you could hear a fucking pin drop.
Yeah.
And after the commercial went off, everybody in that room like just exploded. Like, I'm going Friday. I'm calling my father right now. Like, people were just going nuts.
Yeah.
Like when your mom picked you up on Friday, like, what do you want to do this weekend? You want to go to the restaurant? You're like, I want to go see Bruce Lee. Like, everybody was fucking yelling. That's why.
Yeah.
I remember
Happy Days. I don't think I ever missed an episode of
Me
Happy
neither.
Days.
I loved them.
And then when I was, this is crazy because
Pinky Tuscadero.
Yep. Well,
Jesus.
let me tell you this. So I'm in my backyard in Virginia. I'm probably, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 years old, something like that. I look over the fence. The new neighbors moved in right behind us. You remember Jenny Piccolo?
Jenny Piccolo.
She
That
played
was the girlfriend?
Joni's friend.
The friend, right.
Fucking
Joni.
Jenny Piccolo moved behind me in Virginia over the fence. And she married a dentist. And the show was over and she was just living there. And blew my mind. Because, you know, I'm just worshiping people on the TV and watching it. Now one's right over the back fence. I never talked to her. Was terrified, wouldn't look in her direction. I would sit in our little sunroom. We had a piano, and would she be in the backyard, and I'd play like Happy Days on the piano, but I'd like hide under the window, and then eventually she moved. But it was a mind blowing experience, you know, like holy shit, like.
You're in Virginia.
Yeah, we're in Virginia.
Right in my backyard, my favorite fucking TV show.
Yeah.
The girl that's on that show just
She's
moved
right there.
in next door.
Just moved right there. Crazy. So I watched, you know, I just watched sitcoms like crazy. I went to this little college in Frostburg, Maryland, called Frostburg State University. Tiny little school.
No SATs there.
No SATs
They had a hockey
needed.
team,
Yeah,
man.
you know how like if you're supposed to tell like if a dog is smart, you put a blanket over its head, how long it gets out. That's pretty much the test to get into Frostburg. It was a tiny little school, but there was a TV writing class just as a fluke. And I decided, why not? I'll take it. I like TV. And the night before I was supposed to turn in a script, I didn't have a script. And I just took a bunch of caffeine pills, stayed up all night long, wrote a Cheers script, read it the next day. People laughed. And I was like, this is cool. I like this. And then they had something hooked up with Warner Brothers. And they sent my script to Warner Brothers. And I got picked to go out there for 2 weeks. So I was working for Tony Kornheiser, the ESPN PTI. He had a radio show in D.C. I was working for him, and I said, "Look, I got to go for 2 weeks to this to L.A. to check out this TV stuff. I got picked for for this contest." So I went out to this show, Room for Two, with Linda Lavin and Patricia Heaton, and I just hung out with the writers, got a couple jokes in. They said, "You should do this. No guarantees." I went back, saved up like $2,000, got my car. Drove out here, knew a guy that worked at a Foot Locker in Orange County. I slept on his couch, did some extra work on 90210 and some other stuff just to make some money when I got here. Got a job as a PA and as a writer with the writers. And next thing I knew, I got my first job the next year. So just hustled a little bit.
Which was?
On Our Own with a comedian named Ralph Harris and this family called the Smollett family. There was a bunch of them that were actually related. So they played brothers and sisters on the show. There's like 7 or 8 of them or something. And the thing was, it was one of those TGIF shows, you know, like Family Matters and those shows that were on ABC on Friday nights, you know, real family-oriented shows. And the premise was about as stock as you could get for a sitcom. Their parents had died, and their older brother, played by Ralph Harris, had to dress up like their aunt so they could all stay together. And, of course, the guy that's in charge of, like, social services, he's in love with him when he dresses up like the aunt, so there's a lot of jokes like that. And it wasn't great. It wasn't great. But I remember the first day I said, why can't he dress up like the uncle? And they were all like, shh, hey, man, you're going to fuck up the whole show. Don't say that. So yeah, that was the first one. It lasted a season. It lasted one season, and then I went.
Duncan Trussell with Cory Halen.
Like looking through the beginning of it and realizing that we're part of this like community, like the people in the Fords giving you talking about the book in the beginning are people that I've had on my podcast, and many of the people you've had on your podcast I've had on my podcast, and I just realized, like, what is this thing that we all seem to kind of be part of? What would you call it?
I think it's a new emergence of like I look at knowledge or wisdom or like the inner path and seeking all that stuff. It's like, I don't really look at individuals per se. I look at it as like this long scroll moving through time. And like humans are all these individual cells that create the species of the human critter. And I look at the collective like neural connections between all those things as this long river of data and information. And for thousands of years, and increasingly so in the complexity as civilization in the modern age and society and more people have emerged out of Earth and so forth, have continued to complexify, that story has gotten more intense and more streamlined and so forth. And so throughout time, people have been picking up the pen and writing on that scroll and then dying, and then picking up the pen, and new people pick up the pen and write on that thing. And it's just emerging and emerging, and it's always changing shape. Like back in the day, there used to be like pre-technology, of course, there was gurus and things like that. And who was that? That was some dude hanging around that if you had a question about an existential question, a spiritual question, a question about life or whatever, you would go find that guy that was a guru and you'd say, yo, man, I got this issue. What do you know about it? And he would tell you. But now those people are irrelevant, pretty much. Now we have Google instead of guru, right? So now when you have a question, you can go ask Google. And now Google will tell you, all these different individuals, all these different books, and all these different things you can read. So I really think what's happening is that all of these these collection of individuals that you were just referring to, we're like this kind of singular, connected hive mind of the human collective conscious wisdom that's all been maturing and evolving up until this point in time.
Interesting. Well, I gotta. The thing about Google, I think there is a difference, man. And I'm not trying to Neem Karoli Baba, I would say, is my guru. And because of that, I will seem suspect as though I'm trying to defend the guru formation thing, which I think is like really quite dangerous generally. And I think more and more it's being shown to just be, if anything, that time definitely does seem to be passing. That being said, I think a difference in the data stream that comes from Google or from the internet versus like human contact, I think there's a big difference, but it's tricky in the sense that you can start thinking it is the same, which is, I had this great conversation with Damien Eccles when we were talking about the transmission of information, the scroll, so to speak, and the disciplic succession, as it's sometimes called, the, whispered transmission. It has all these great names for it. But he was telling me, and I think I have experienced this to some degree, that it is a combination of just basic philosophical concepts mixed in with something that's a little bit like the Olympic torch, except instead of starting wherever off of, an Olympic flame and then traveling, it's moving through time. And it seems to have started, quite often the stories are, it starts from some messiah being, but a collective maybe, or even something more than that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
I do, yeah. And
do you, and this is the Dharma transmission that they talk about sometimes. Do you feel like you've gotten that transmission, like you've gotten the download in a traditional way?
I feel like we all have the download, and it's a matter of clearing away all the stuff that's been piled on top of it to kind of get back to it, the natural brilliance. And I totally agree with what you're talking about as far as like the guru idea. Human contact is like crucial and essential to, I think, to like just being a person that's learning things in the world. But I guess the point I was trying to make was that like knowledge and information is no longer being held hostage by one person. Now there's like all these different places, and that's whenever I was mentioning all the different people that you can find, through the internet and all the books and all that stuff. We're living in this amazing time where like there isn't just one person that's guarding all of the information. Like it's everywhere, and I think that's such a useful, turn for this type of stuff to take, because it makes it where you inherently kind of understand that there isn't just one way. There are a multitude of ways, and all of them have value, and you can find what speaks to you and extract, and learn from those different things, and kind of build your own individual narrative of seeking that is what you need, because we all need something different, of course.
I've been working on my discipline lately, and I'm I'm always trying to learn music these days, but that's something we have in common, and not just learn music the way I in the past have just dabbled or whatever, but really going online, taking courses, studying music theory, and I'm astounded by how easy it is to learn how to play music these days. I mean, forget all the guru bullshit. And if you wanted to learn guitar in the old days, you would have to find a guitar teacher. You needed to go and hang out with people who play the guitar at the very least. But you couldn't go on YouTube and instantaneously have access to thousands of guitar lessons. And what's fascinating to me about the internet is it is such a beautiful reflection of us, in the sense that back to back we have guitar lessons. You could take free classes from Harvard. You can make contact with some of the smartest people, at least the smartest public figures who are putting themselves out there today, through Twitter, Patreon. And yet also there is this ocean of just shit, right? Like, you know what I mean? Definitely. And like when I watch my habituations and my pattern on the internet, it's always wild to like realize, like, why am I choosing why do I keep going back to some of these data streams that are inevitably just hellscapes? And looking at the forward of your book and reading what I could of it, it made me want to talk to you a little bit about that, because I think that decision to siphon bad energy, you were talking about peace being the energy, I think, versus fear, right? And that decision to like go to the fear, go to the fucking fossil fuel, go to the like polluting energy that definitely gives you a rush. Fear will put a spring in your step, but man, it's not very sustainable. And the decisions you make in that frightened state are quite often wrong. But why, Cory? Why do we pick fear over peace? If there is this thing that you're saying is in us, why aren't we there? Why don't we want to go there?
I think it's not that we're choosing fear. It's that we grow up in this circumstance where we're bullied into being fearful. And it's because, there's obviously a bazillion reasons, one of which is we live in a society where like America is in the business of making things famous. And if you're not famous, a lot of people feel like normalness isn't enough. Being normal is failing. If we're being told that we're not enough, so we need to keep buying new things, we're marketed to like, well, if you have this, you'll feel okay. If you buy this, you'll feel okay. If you wear that, you'll feel okay. And so we're all feeling like less than. We're feeling like we're scared. The modern world is freaky. It's complex. And so, we're just born into this space of like, feeling insignificant and like nobody, and like we need to kind of, in an animalistic way, almost get ours. That's sort of this theme that is really beat into people for whatever reason. And what was amazing for me anyway was like realizing that based upon my family inheritance, I'll call it, my $5 billion that I inherited. No, my
I inherited $1 billion. Wow, five's great.
Oh,
though.
I gotta end this, man. If only a billionaire, I'm sorry,
Fuck.
man. Anything under
I shouldn't
3, I
have
can't.
said.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Well,
Well, I'm working at it. I'm trying to inherit again.
Well, just let me know whenever you can, and we'll pick this up again.
All right. Well, nice chatting with you, man.
This was okay, actually. Yeah, this is okay. No, but anyway, your family inherited programs, the operating script that you get from your family circumstances and so forth. And yeah, man, I had a lot of pain, a lot of suffering based upon, being loved conditionally, being taught by my father that he was this Dallas like banker kind of Tarantino movie type of guy that was very much this alpha.
Thank you, folks, for listening. Tune in next week for more podcasts of all podcasts. Van Halen, the great.
is me.